thank you all for being here. Great, wonderful. So thank you all for being here. And I'm going to actually pass it over to Vianney, who will be giving us a little bit of an introduction to our guest today. Hi, Vianney.
Hi, everyone. My name is Vianney. We have Alex Triener here with us today. Thank you. Alex Triener is a passionate tech entrepreneur who has started 3 tech startup companies here in San Diego, one that was successfully acquired in 2018, and the other 2 are still going strong. He is currently the co-founder and CEO at Productified, a startup company created to help inventors and entrepreneurs turn their ideas into products. Alex has raised close to $2 million in funding from angel investors and venture capital groups. He has also helped the Rack Innovation Lab with crowdfunding and has had a successful Kickstarter campaign that raised more than $100,000. In this workshop, Alex Triener will share the strategy, tips, and best practices on how to find the right people to work with on Fiverr. He will go over the benefits of using Fiverr and how to effectively use that service to build your business. And now we will be passing it off to Alex. Once again, welcome and thank you so much for being here.
So yours,
Thank
Alex.
you very much for the warm intro. Hey, good morning, everybody. So we're going to dive into this. The reason we're here is because we are living in the age of gig economy. Everybody knows what that is, right? So as you guys, as entrepreneurs, early stage entrepreneurs, you don't have much funding. So it doesn't make sense to you at all to hire full-time employees. That's why we're looking to hire freelancers to do like a quick job, quick project, or not so quick, but it's convenient for them and convenient for you. So I think it's solved, the idea of hiring freelancers. So quick disclaimer, we participate in Fiverr's affiliate program. And if you ever use our affiliate link to sign up for a Fiverr account, it bears no extra cost or any other disadvantage for you. All right, so this is kind of a quick landscape of freelancing platforms today. I found a mention of over 80 different freelancing platforms. It's just crazy. And they still combined, they don't cover as much a high percentage of the market. Still, most of freelancing happening offline, so it's moving online. So there are 3 largest freelancing platforms. They're all publicly traded: Fiverr, Upwork, and Freelancer.com. And here's a quick kind of a summary comparison between them. So Upwork is the oldest one. It started as Elance. Long story there, merge of a couple of companies. Fiverr started in 2010 and Freelancer is about the same time. So you can see Fiverr now is valued at over $8 billion, Upwork over $6 billion, and Freelancer.com it's at $250,000. Look at insane amount of freelancers and clients on their platforms, in millions. So I think this is key to see how many gigs, how many projects a year they execute, and they pretty much in about $2 to $3 million each. And they have different focus. So Upwork, if you guys ever hear of Upwork as a high quality platform, it's very true. They are super high quality. They don't have gigs. Everybody there charges by hour, and their big focus is staff augmentation for Fortune 500 and other enterprises. So in Fiverr and Freelancer work with individuals and small businesses, so they just write platforms for us. So we decided to go with Fiverr. So I'm going to try to sell to you why Fiverr is good. So first of all, Fiverr offers value for money. What does it mean? So offers start at 5 o'clock, hence the company was called Fiverr. It's a little quirky, but that's how they did it. By the way, the first, one of the first quirky things was, hey, for $5, I'm going to call your mom and sing her a happy birthday song and stuff like that. And they still have those different characters on the platform. Fiverr charges you as a customer 5% of the project cost, meaning that if you are paying a freelancer $100, you will have to it will be $105 out of pocket for you, and then freelancer will receive $80 and will pay Fiverr $20, just to make it clear. So you can also, they offer an opportunity to tip a freelancer if they did a good job. Second value is transparency. So first of all, it's a project-based pricing, no hourly rates. And the example I use is somebody comes to your home, to your house or to your apartment, and say, we're going to paint your apartment. So how much is it going to cost? If they tell you, it's going to cost you $1,000, the apartment is going to be painted completely, and it's going to cost you $1,000. But then imagine somebody comes in and says, hey, I just charge $30 an hour. And so how long is it going to take? I don't know. It's hard for me to say. So there's there's a risk for you. It's uncertainty. It's not, there's no warm and fuzzy feeling. But with project-based pricing, it is a warm and fuzzy feeling. Also, each freelancer has customer ratings and reviews, as you can see. It's very transparent. Also, Fiverr themselves, they assign levels to every freelancer, and it's based on their performance. I will go into this in the next slide, on the next one, or few next slides. And for each freelancer, you can also see how busy they are. It says that many orders in the queue. Also, they're easy to search. So it's not something that is unique to them. Majority of freelancing platforms, especially Upwork, go on Upwork, it's really easy to search, but still, it's important. And then they have protected payments. What does it mean? So once you've ordered a gig, a project, you commit your money to Fiverr. So they're basically like sitting in an escrow. You guys don't know what escrow is. When you're buying a house, it's a significant amount of money, right? How do you make sure that in the same time that you give somebody your money, that somebody will give your house documents, ownership to you? Well, there's an escrow firm that actually holds this. So you don't pay the seller, you pay the escrow firm. Same thing here. Fiverr acts as an escrow, and they also do a dispute resolution, if any. So meaning that your payment is not released to the freelancer until you approve the work. And if you did never approve the work, you can escalate it to Fiverr, and they will escalate it to Fiverr and say, hey, we disagree at this, here's the situation.
So
Fiverr, yeah.
Oh, so I didn't mean to interrupt. I just was going to say, so I just wanted to make sure, I always get questions from students and from entrepreneurs about, hiring gig workers, because, everybody knows that there is, there's California employment laws, and they know that, they've learned all of the things that are necessary when you're hiring employees. And often people are worried that that hiring people through the gig economy might, they might not be doing things legally, or that they, that it really isn't.
You muted yourself, but I understand the question. It's a great question. I actually didn't put it here but yes, it's specifically basically so you see there's the last bullet points. Oh, no, it's not here. Okay, sorry then. All right, yeah. So it's true, California has AB5. California is the worst when you hire somebody. Theoretically, by law, you have to report to the IRS even if you hire somebody to clean your house. I don't know if many people do that or not, but that's how it goes. So Fiverr actually acts as a buffer there. They give you, they take care of all the legalities and make sure that you truly hire a freelancer, and they give you an invoice for tax deductions. So that's one of the benefits there, certainly. I think you also can request some documents from them. By the way, I forgot to mention, so Fiverr originally it's an Israeli company. It's headquartered in Israel. But they are on NASDAQ, and so their US headquarters is in New York, and their customer support, which I wanted to go 24/7, based in Orlando, Florida, which is very, very convenient.
And thank you, Alex. That absolutely answered the question. It's completely a legal way to avoid some of those complicated and difficult tax laws. So thank you. That was
right. And there's one more cool thing about this. I will go into this as best practices and tips, but one of the tips is to build relationships. You don't want to go over 100 freelancers. If you find somebody who works for you who is good, you just keep doing it with them. But the good thing about it, you do it on different gigs, and they kind of separate, and there's no even visibility to tax authorities that it's the same person. The only visibility, you work with Fiverr. This is it.
Right.
So in your tax
interview, yeah.
Yeah, in your tax invoice, you don't see the name of a freelancer or anything. No identification. And of course, lastly is there's a currency exchange that could be an issue, but you just pick your currency and they take care of it for you. All right. So this is kind of quickly some of the useful Fiverr terminology. Seller means freelancer because they sell their services, obviously. Buyer means you, a client. Gig stands for project. And they have 3 different packages for each gig, which is basic, standard, or premium. So let's look at the value for money. So on the left side here, this is just a screenshot, right? Things starting at $5. And they're still there. They're still there. And by the way, Fiverr for quite a few years, they wouldn't allow their freelancers to offer basic package. So here, let me move it a little bit. So what you see here on the right side is you can look and compare this. So each gig, when it says starting at $5, it means it's a basic. Then standard is a different price, and premium is a different price, and they define here what each one of those. So there's a breakdown of services. So Fiverr insisted and demanded from all their freelancers for quite a few years that every basic gig will start at $5. They really stuck to their guns, calling themselves a Fiverr. But not anymore. It's no longer the case. You can find gigs that start as $200 and at $10 and so on, as you can see here. All right. So next one is transparency. So this is right here on the left is a screenshot of a specific freelancer with this weird name, USA or whatever. And then, so here within this red elliptic thing, you can see several things. One is it says top rated seller. I will go into this in a second, what it means. Then you have their stars. So five-star maximum review. And in parentheses here is a number of reviews. So 533 people reviewed them. And even if they did it themselves, I'm just kidding. So Fiverr actually does filter it out, but I still saw, that friends try to promote them. And then lastly, as I told you, you can see that this specific freelancer has 22 orders in queue. Meaning that even if this freelancer works, like Speedy Gonzalez, project a day, it's still going to take 22 business days for them to get to your project. So you may not want to hire them. So now I'm going to go, I'm going to go over into this table. So basically there are 3 types of, you see this top rated seller, right? There are 3 seller levels, actually 4, unrated as well. So top rated, level 2 and level 1. And somehow these guys, level 2 is higher than level 1, which is counterintuitive to me, but whatever. So top rated sellers are vetted by Freelancer. They've completed at least 100 orders on time, and their customer rating average is over 4.7. And for all of them, it's over 4.7. Level 2 and level 1 are not vetted, but they completed 50 orders and 10 orders accordingly. So if you see, and I think it's a moving window as well. It's not over the lifetime. It needs to be somebody active. So if you're seeing a freelancer that has nothing here, that means that they are underneath here, that didn't complete at least 10 orders on time, and there were complaints or something like that. Complaints push them down in their rating. Okay, so I want to do a quick demo. So why it's easy to search. All right, okay, so I wanted to show you, I'm just going to go online, and I know that usually it's a terrible idea to go online live. We'll try this. So I'm on Fiverr right now. This is our account. I'm on Fiverr Business. I will explain to you in a second what it is. I want to hear from the crowd. What do you want to search for? Tell me who do you need. One keyword.
Digital art.
Digital art. All right, let's do digital art. Okay, so you see it's kind of it's one of the popular categories. So you're seeing here under digital art, you can see over 2,300 freelancers services available. Now services stand for gigs, right? So there's a freelancer profile and there's a gig profile. What you're seeing here, you're seeing a gig. So theoretically, it could be a single freelancer offering 2,300 and some gigs, but of course, it's not the case, right? So what are interesting filters here? Well, first of all, if you understand what you need, you can go in here and basically, create these filters, right? I have no idea what digital art is. I'm just kidding, but yeah, I'm not going to do this for now, right? Category, obviously, we already picked the category. So this filter is redundant here. But this is interesting. So first of all, we want to go and say we want to English speaking, right? And that's pretty much it. Like Russian is my native language, but I don't want to, I want to deal in English. I don't even know how to talk to them in Russian, honestly. I only talk to my mom in Russian now, these days. All right, next is a seller level. So as you can see, guys, there are four levels. So the one is unrated is called a new seller. And let's say you're so ambitious, you want to go to only top rated. So right here, you already can narrow it down to only 5. But let's say, you're also into level 2. So we've narrowed this down, right, by this and this. There's also a very interesting thing here. You can see they list here 110 countries, one or 6 more plus 4. So you can pick only United States. Let's pick only United States if you're, okay. So now we have only 3 services available. Yeah, I think we overdid it. So there's one is kind of promoted. It's a top level for whatever reason, right? It's level 2 seller, and there are 2 level 2 sellers here. So you get the point, right? So that was easy to search. Let me look at my slide. What other points I wanted? Yeah, I also wanted to explain to you. There's a gig. Okay, so I'm gonna go here, right? So I've arrived at a gig profile. Okay, the gig is called "I will do digital art commissions," and you can see here the description on this side. I already showed you a screenshot before, right? It says basic, standard, and premium. And you can click on this compare packages, and it will give you a quick, nice comparison table. Plus, you can improve your delivery time for whatever cost, right? So that was that. But also, I wanted to go back here and show you a difference. Yeah.
I have a question, Alex. So that seems so inexpensive to me, like especially as somebody who hires lots of people and has in the past. I mean, this kind of changes everything, right? Is that common that it would cost you so little to do a little project? I mean, it just seems crazy to me to get somebody who's so skilled to do, this project for you for $10 to $30.
So so it's a great question. It looks too good to be true, but it ain't. Honestly, this is actually not a con job. Some of this every freelancer say, call me before, right? So if you wanted to customize, they will jack up prices. But still, in negotiation theory, right, there's like framing and anchoring, right? Yeah. So if you're starting your price from $10 or even $100, right, it's very hard to take it to $10,000.
Right.
So from $100, it might go to $300, depending what you need to do, right? So it is still incredibly cost effective. I see there's a bunch of chats here, but I don't have time for this. So you Tanya, or somebody else.
We'll let you know. We'll let you know if there's anything. Yeah.
Okay. So the last thing I wanted to show you quickly. So this is a gig profile. I already showed you, right? So I'm clicking on this, and this is a gig. But I want to see I want to see this particular artist, right? I'm clicking on this artist, and this is artist profile, right? It's basically it's description of this artist. So in this case, it seems that she only has 1 gig, and you can see 3 orders in queue and all that. But sometimes you can find underneath the same name of this. So I'm going to click on this seller. Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, that's perfect, right? So she actually offers 2 different gigs, right? So this is her page now. You can see even here in the URL, right? Her name is Platinum whatever. It's Platinum FT. So in the URL, it says fiverr.com Platinum FT. So you can clearly see that I am now on her page, and you can see her different gigs, in this case only 2, right? And if I go here back, this is a complicated URL because it's a search. But if I click on this, I will arrive at a URL, which is, this is Fiverr, this is her name, and this is the name of the gig. All right. Okay, so that concludes our live. It was a complete success here. We didn't have any hiccups. Do we? Yes. Okay. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into boring stuff, kind of best practices. So when you're hiring a standard gig, well, first is the key to success is communication and everything, right? You guys know that. Even in the marriage, even in a divorce. Anyways, I haven't gone yet through one, but I'm saying everywhere you look, communication is key. And so what's communication? Meaning writing things down, thinking them through, right? So what you need to do, step 1 is you write down your needs, right? You circle it with your team, you work together as a team, finally you arrive at something. It's essentially a bullet point list. It doesn't have to be a story there. And then from there, you need to identify what the key skill or skill set you need, right? Like now I was just searching, somebody told me digital art. So digital art was a key skill. that I use to find that gig. And so here you also need to understand, right? Sometimes you're looking for so many different things. So you need to know the terminology a little bit. It helps if you get some advice from somebody, or you just go and explore. Like for instance, if you need to do something on your website and you don't know what it is exactly, you'll be safe going with a full stack developer. Full stack meaning front end and back end combined. All right.
I just wanted to echo what you were saying. Absolutely, that is so true. The communication piece, being able to clearly articulate what you need is such a big deal. And I think this is where a lot of people are running into trouble when they're not happy with something. It's because they have not clearly expressed what they're needing. So
yeah, exactly. And you need to get on the same page with your freelancer. That's key, right? And by the way, I'm going to give you another cheap recipe here for success in life. It's all about so the successful outcome of your project is not just it's all about your definition of success and all about your expectations, right? So you need to make sure your expectations are realistic, and you need to kind of go back and forth with the freelancer and understand what's going to be the deliverable. Okay, so step 2, you enter this in the search, you saw it, and then you narrow your search down to preferred sellers, level, language, price range. I forgot to show you the price range, but if you're still overwhelmed with choices, price range will surely take you to where you want to go. Okay, and of course, I think that it's worth looking at United States versus international. International will be cheaper, of course. Not always, by the way, but sometimes just college students are so fast, they knock things out pretty quickly. So then step 3 is you use compare packages that I just showed you, right? It's here again, I took a screenshot here, right? You click on this compare packages right here. And you basically decide for yourself what you want to order. And then, of course, you assume that one of these packages is exactly what you need, right? And then you also look how seller describes this package, and you use their terminology, their words, to update your own requirements. So you go back to your requirements and you use their language. And if you don't understand their language, that means that you need to reach out to them. You always need to reach out to them, even if you're ordering a standard gig, just to make sure. And then the question is always is how many gigs do you, or how many freelancers or gigs do you select to get to start talking to them. So I would recommend not to go with just one, but to be somewhere 3 to 5, because some of them you'll find busy, some of them will not respond to you. You can always start with one; it's not a problem. But if you don't, and they also post on their profile, what the average response time. But it depends, they might not be up right now. They may be, basically sleeping, right? So it might take just easily 12 hours for them to get back to you. Some of them have actual automated responses and so forth. In any case, I'm just saying that, just set your expectations that some of them will not even respond to you, and some of them say, hey, I cannot do this, or I'm too busy. And then you reach out to these freelancers by using Contact Me. So Contact Me is right here. Oh, sorry, no, it's not here. It's in their profile. So so you enter your project description and you ask them to review and confirm their availability, and that your description matches their description of their gig, right? Then for larger, if it's a larger, more expensive project, is it critical? Always set up a video chat with them, and of course ask for references. Read their reviews as well. Forgot to put here. For the custom gigs, then steps 1 to 2 same, but then you need to select way more freelancers to ask them, for a quote. So you go to 5 to 15. I ended up doing 20, and I only got four quotes at the end. So right here you can see.
What project? What kind of project was that?
It's a website development, front end, back end, but it's not a full blown. It's like
a piece of it.
It's not a huge project. Yeah, it's still a couple $1,000 worth. Mm-hmm. Maybe $3,000 actually, depending how we're structuring this in phases. Mm-hmm. So right here you can click on get a quote. Get a quote means that you will just also contact them. Then you research these freelancers, and basically you need to treat this as a formal RFQ, request for quotation, right? And then you compare apples to apples. You get multiple quotes out of them. A few tips is never go for the cheapest, because if like, especially if it's like an outlier, right? You want to get multiple quotes always, right? If it's non-standard, and you want to compare them and see that most of them are within range, right? So I've received 4 quotes, $1,000, two $1,500, and one $1,700. And based on the descriptions, we picked a guy with $1,500. So usually the cheapest is either desperate or just don't know what they're doing. You obviously don't want to work with anybody like that. The most expensive, also very much possible that they overbidding. Bidding conservatively, right? Underbidding. Overbidding. In this case, yeah, overbidding. Because they just, they don't know what they're doing, and so they're being conservative, right? So in both cases, just drop them, right?
Anyway, it's a problem, right?
Yeah, outliers is only good when you're reading Malcolm Gladwell's book, right? But otherwise, just go for the center there. Okay, and then again, set up a video chat and ask for references. Okay,
I just wanted to say, one more thing. Sorry, I keep interrupting, but I was thinking is so this workshop today is so great that it came right after last night. We did a workshop on project management, and they just kind of go hand in hand. It's just perfect. If you treat this like a project, draw out a storyboard or an RFQ or an RFP showing exactly what you need, and this could really be a great solution for a lot of people.
Yeah, but there's one nuance here. Yeah, so project management is everywhere in life, right? Even when you go to a store, you need to have a list of to know what you're buying. Right, that's for sure. However, in this case, more important than project management skills is a product management skill, right? Because project management doesn't teach you how to write your specification, and product management does, right? And there are 2 different layers of specification. One is from using customers' language, right? And then you translate it from a customer's language to technical language, and then you hand it over to the freelancer. That's how it works, right? Okay, so confidentiality. So I actually reached out to Fiverr customer support. I always, if I have a question, so we actually have a guy who supports us in their biz dev. If we have like some business related questions, so forth. But I don't want to bother him with general type of questions. So I asked customer support. We have a Fiverr business account, and we're getting support immediately. So it says. I asked them about the NDA, and they said, and what about confidentiality in general? So this is verbatim, just I posted here how they respond to me. Bullet point number 1 is Fiverr sellers are required to keep all info they received confidential. Okay, well, if they don't, they risk getting kicked out of the platform and losing their livelihood. Of course, Fiverr is not the only one. There are 80 other platforms, but if they have good reputation, if they've built it over the years on Fiverr, they would not jeopardize it for sure. And second bullet point is information. So they also confirm that whatever information they receive from you guys, which is not the public domain, right? It's all through private direct messaging, will be kept confidential. It will not be shared with anyone. All right. So my recommendation is this: don't, if not needed, don't share any secret sauce or any other trade secrets, right? Like if you want to impress somebody, impress your team members. Don't impress freelancers, all right? And then you can ask them to sign your NDA. And frankly, I don't know what this NDA will even mean, because this NDA will be written for you, being in the great country of the United States of America, in California, and they could be somewhere in Pakistan, and I don't know, right, if it even works. But it doesn't hurt for sure, right? And then last point is this: once you have an NDA in place, you got to mark confidential and proprietary property of my rec startup every document that contains confidential information. That's important.
Yeah, and whether or not it actually, it's actually enforceable in a court of law, sometimes it's enough just saying it, right? Just expressing it and having that signature. So I think that's great advice. I think it's great advice, Alex.
All right. Next is kind of general kind of advice. Keep all the documentation with freelancers documented. Meaning this: if you are talking to them if you're video chatting, Zooming or whatnot, ask their permission to record and record these videos. And our freelancer actually asked us for a copy of the video, which was very astute of them. And make sure that even if you have this chat, right, write things down and send them via email or message on Fiverr, just to make sure that it's all captured in one place and you can show it. Okay, so that's one. And the second point is set up a process to track their progress. So you want to have a regular or maybe even daily updates via message or email, like, we're using, so our freelancer is in Karachi, Pakistan right now, but he works on our time. He works, the time difference right now is exactly 12 hours. He works 9 p.m. through 5 a.m. their time at night, which is 9 through 5 our time, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So that's good. So we also have WhatsApp with him, if needed. We also do requested that they do code check-ins in our GitHub. It's our account, not their account, right? So meaning that every day they do something, they need to check in the code. And then we do video chats, obviously, as needed. Okay, I found this great blog from this woman, I don't even know, Sabina Ionescu, so I am crediting her with this. She had 20 points. So I've condensed it for you guys to these points. She said, one is keep a single Fiverr account. Then second is, Fiverr is a well-organized, but still sometimes it's hard for you to go back and find your gigs that you like. So save them as favorites right here. You can see a little heart. You can put them in favorites. And there actually, you can put them on a list, in different lists. You can put them in favorites. So Fiverr gives you all the two different tools here. Always contact the seller before buying, even if it's a custom gig. Even if it's a standard gig. This is a great tip, right? It's like almost a spy novel here, but you said embed a secret word or a secret sentence or something in the project description, and make sure that they actually, just to make sure that they read it, because some of them just bid on projects, and it's just noise, right? And then do a trial run before requesting a bigger project. So what we've done, we've broken out our larger project into multiple phases. I don't know still how many phases that will be. We already have a quote for every, but you want a quote for everything, right? Because once you're on a hook, you don't want to get quotes down the road. So we got all the quotes. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that's the beauty of being in this gig economy. You don't want to tie yourself into some long-term contract with someone. If you do the small little ones first, it's such good advice. Yeah.
Exactly. But ideally, you obviously, if you find somebody that you like, you want them to continue, right? There's always a learning curve. And even though you're kind of not paying for a learning curve, right? They just give you a kind of flat rate bid, but still it's your time and it's a quality, right? So again, you can break down a larger project to a few smaller ones and make multiple ones, and don't order all of them at once, just one, right? Of course, you can negotiate prices, which we did, in a right way. You still want your freelancer to want you, right? So if it's like between 100 and 150 bucks to somebody in Pakistan, $50 for them is a significantly more significant amount of money than for us, right? So it's okay, to be generous, I guess, right? And we already talked about building relationship, right? Don't go over. It's like it's like in life. You find your friends, you find your spouse, and you stick with them. And then lastly is it's very important to communicate and also behave like a professional and be courteous. Meaning that, if it's somebody like in a very remote country in Sri Lanka, you don't know anything about them, like you think, like if I were to quote one of our politicians who is no longer here, he would say it's a dump, it's this and that. But these are people, these are professionals, they work for you, and you just want to respect them, right? And just, don't yell at them because you're frustrated or upset. Just write them a nice email. Hey, I'm a little nervous. Can you please provide an update or something like that? All right. Okay. So this is an example of my request for quote. Of course, it's very short here, but, it's very actually comprehensive. So I'm asking them, implement our Figma designs on our WordPress website. And of course, this thing, right? If I show my Figma, you'll, oh my God, there's like thousands of hours of work in this Figma, right? Including the design documentation. So this is big. This is a documentation and so on. And then basically I say steps. First, clone our website to your own server as a staging environment, implement the design as a responsive website, and connect the buttons to existing plugins. Those are things that I wanted them to do, right? And so, and then, we went back and forth, multiple bidders and so forth, started talking. And this is an example of requirements. So this is basically, same thing that I asked, but I've added here items number 4, 5, and 6, which is upon our review of the work in the staging environment and our approval, implement on the live website, right? Then check in your code to GitHub daily and provide progress report daily. So I've added 3 things.
Writing a job description for someone, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Job description. I love it.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, the reason I'm showing you this, it's not as scary after all. I mean, this would be scary. Yeah. Figma designs is, yeah. But I mean, you can do this, right? Like, how do you eat elephant one bite at a time? Remember that. Start writing these things down, and you might have a few sticking points that you're not sure how to write them, but you'll find your way through. All right. And then lastly, I wanted to talk. So how are we doing on time? We're good. Oh yeah.
We are only 11:30.
Okay. All right. So this is my last slide actually. So I wanted to pitch to you a Fiverr business account. We came across this accidentally. We're like, so what's in there for us? Well, it turns out it's great actually. So it allows you team collaboration up to 50 members. You get much better level of support. So you get support of Fiverr business success managers. Basically, they can do all the work for you and find you the right talent. I just don't like giving control. I don't like putting my faith in control. I just like to hold the reins. So I do it on my own. But if you're unsure, there's nothing wrong with that or trying them out.
They can help.
And they also say that they use a separate pool, not a separate pool, but a subset of experienced freelancers that already have been vetted by Fiverr, specifically for business projects. But for that matter, as you go to top level, to top level freelancer, that means they've been vetted as well. So what is the cost of this? There were benefits. So there's first year is free, and you can cancel it within 30 days of the at the month, in the 11th month, and thereafter is $150 a year. And it might be even worth it. So it's not a month, a year, right? And with that, let's open for. Oh yeah, and I just wanted to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sorry.
I wanted you to tell them how they could sign up and actually go through your link so that it benefits you, right? Because you do so much for us. We want to make sure that we're reciprocating, and then yeah.
So guys, I already made a disclaimer that we are subscribed into their affiliate program. So our goal is, they are basically a backbone of our business model for the foreseeable future. But for now, while we're still building our website, we want to start scoring points with them. And if any of you will actually hire somebody even for $10, we don't care, right? It would be good if you go through us, and so we kind of start scoring some points. And but also if you need help hiring a freelancer, and if you don't need my help, but if you're okay using our affiliate link, shoot me an email and I will send you our affiliate link, and you can use it or not.
Okay, yeah,
right?
That's what I was going to say. If you have your affiliate link, I don't know if it's something that you want to share, but I mean, it doesn't hurt at all to use your affiliate link, and then there's that extra kind of bonus of being able to then lean on you a little bit if we need some help with something or
question. Yeah, exactly. So I'm also, so if you guys need it, reach out to me, set up a meeting with us, right? We'll discuss it. We'll help you. We'll help you to get to the right freelancer on Fiverr. And and then we have 2 different affiliate links. One is for an individual account, and one is for a business account. So we need to know which one you prefer. We strongly recommend, especially if you're first timer, use business account, because you can use their managers as well, to help you hiring people in the future. Okay. And then if you want a copy of this presentation, please email me and I will send you the copy. All right. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. I'll also put this this information here in the, or if Alex, if you mind putting it in the chat too, so that they can make sure to copy it over, exactly. I think, we all have to help each other in entrepreneurship so that we can uh, be as successful as possible. And
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, and I specifically asked for permission to say it, of course.
yes,
right?
I know. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. I don't know. That's thank you. But yeah, so if we could do that, and then it helps you and it helps us. And I love mutually beneficial arrangements. They're
All right.
the best, best way to go. So I encourage all of you to take advantage of this. And you all know Alex, he's been helping us for quite a while. And I know we have a few questions in the chat, and then I see that Felipe also had a question. I wanted to start though with Martin's question and ask if you could, and I think that I understood what you were saying, but want to make sure that we're right about the secret word. And Martin had asked about whether or not when you're using that secret word, if you just embed a word in there and ask them, did you if you saw this word, please mention whatever snaggletooth I think he wrote in there. Is that how it essentially works there, Alex?
So I haven't done it, but I thought it's a great tip. So what I've done is, I talk to freelancers and I ask them to paraphrase what they think that I need. And by the way, with each one of those 4 who actually quoted me, I found that none of them actually got it from the first shot what I really needed. And then I realized it's probably not them, it's me, right? So I've done a poor job. And yet, I am, I consider myself a pro. I worked in the industry for 15 years.
Right.
This is my 3rd startup. I've done this many, many times over. And so it's not trivial. It's all about communication. So
right. I find that happens to me all the time, where I think like, hey, everybody knows what the heck I'm talking about. This is, I don't need to get into any more detail. And then when you ask them to repeat it back, you realize, oh my goodness gracious, they didn't understand a word I was saying. Right. And so, yeah, it's so important to make sure that there's that, transfer of knowledge.
Yeah, but so I don't know how exactly she, that woman, I forgot her name, but
Yeah.
I think it's Romanian sounding name, Ionesco something. But I don't know exactly how she would use it, or you would use it. But I think that you just put a weird sentence in there, right, and make them ask you, and
Right.
see if they ask you like, what did that mean?
Yep.
Like,
I think, yeah.
Put the Challenger on Mars.
Right.
What the heck does that mean?
Right. Yeah, I think that's a great. A great way to make sure that they read it. And I think Martin, if you did the way that you were saying too, I think it would work just fine. So any way that you can make sure that they actually understood you, I think would be good.
Yeah, but this is Martin. I think this is good.
Yeah.
I like it, Martin. I think you can add to the manual now.
So great. I also see there was a question from Philippe. Did you want to go ahead and ask your question and make sure that when you do, you unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you. So actually not a question, but I'd like to share that some months ago, I faced a strange experience because one guy asked me over LinkedIn if I could create an account on Upwork. And the idea was basically that he was going to use my information, I think, to take advantage of my background, and pay me 20% back to me of all the work. So I'd like to make sure that you are dealing with kind of real person. You can see on the chat. I'm just gonna send what happened, and you are gonna see.
Thank you, Philippe. Yeah, there's so many scammers out there. That's such a great advice. So what he was saying was basically people were asking him for his information so that they could pretend to be him and then give him a kickback. And so you really, yes, absolutely have to make sure that you contact the person before you actually give them any money, so that you have that communication, and you see, yes, this is who I'm talking to, and they understand what I'm saying, and they have that background that they say that they have. That's right. Anything on that, Alex, you want to add?
Nope. This is, to me, I think this is a fishing expedition with PH in the beginning. Right? I don't think that somebody would ever share anything with you.
All right. So then do we have any other questions in the chat or from the audience? Anybody have any, have used Fiverr and wanted to give us any feedback, personal experiences?
I've used Fiverr before, and like I think the most important thing for me from what Alex talked about today was to maintain relationships. Like if you do find a freelancer that you're really comfortable with and they do amazing work and you think they have a good price for you, you do really want to stick with them and establish a relationship with them, because who knows how that's gonna branch out. Maybe they can refer you to like their network, and then they could just build out from there.
You could even hire them. I mean, I've
Yeah.
even hired people that, we started as freelance and then they end up eventually, being, employees. So yeah, that's
I can actually talk about that as well.
Mhm.
Right. So basically, out of those four, two of them asked us to go around Fiverr, right? And they offered us 20% discount.
Mhm.
But so I don't know what is it. I mean, like for them, it sounds like it would have been a wash, right? I mean, if you're on Fiverr, you should be actually interested in going through Fiverr because you're building your, your credibility there, right?
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, and I couldn't understand why they offer that. Maybe they just wanted to hook us as a customer and thought that if we are cost sensitive and offer us a discount, we didn't want to go behind their back.
Yeah.
And then I totally forgot to mention, but. So my, guys, I got an MBA from the Ready School of Management a few years ago, and my marketing professor turns out he now is a Chief Behavioral Sciences Officer at Fiverr.
Oh.
And we chatted with him a couple of weeks ago. He gave us some insights. It's actually an amazing company. Because I respect him tremendously. And he said that before committing to Fiverr, he works for them for some time on a consulting basis, and he got to meet their executive management and understand how the company is run, and it's amazing. In any ways, so we asked him like, what is the remedy for this? How do you guys deal with people wanting to go behind your back? Because we're concerned, right? It's for us, we're trying to create a free platform, and so our revenue depends on affiliate fees. And he said that they're using like everybody else a stick and a carrot, a very small stick and larger carrot. So the stick is that if somebody is saying, hey, let's go on email, let's go on this, they automatically flag it like everybody else, like on Airbnb or Verbo, same thing, right? So that's a small stick. But the carrot is that they're building some program for freelancers. So as more jobs they do, progressively they earn more. And they also now doing this for customers. It's called VID, like VIP, right? A very important doer. Told you Fiverr is pretty quirky. So, and this, I don't know what it means, but you pretty much you're getting a higher level of support, like you have a business account, but you actually don't, right? So something like that, and some other benefits as well. So you can go and look it up. It's easy to remember, right? Very VIP, VID. Type Google up Fiverr VID, and you'll find they have a page for it.
All right. So do we have any other questions from the audience or comments?
Yeah, thank you so much, Alex. This is a great presentation. I really enjoyed it so much. I have a quick question. So when you hire someone on Fiverr, do you ever give them some of your login details for some things, for some program that you have that they don't have, or anything like that, or your GitHub, not GitHub, but other accounts?
It's a great question, and I also forgot to mention that. Yes. So it depends, right? But in our case, we did. Sometimes you just have no choice. But nowadays there's this sophistication in majority of these online platforms where you have multiple levels of users, right? So they don't have to be an admin, right? You just you grant them a status of a team member, limited access. For instance, they cannot make payments or make purchases
the account or
stuff like that. It's like a read only, right? It's like, for instance, if you invite them to your Google Drive, for instance, if you're sharing a doc on Google Drive, right? You can share it as view only, as comments, or full editing, right? So even for that, you have 3 different levels of access. Did it answer?
Yes, that answered it perfectly. Thank you. Great.
All right. So I think we're pretty much coming near the end of the time here. Is there anything that you'd like to leave us with, Alex, as we go out and and start our Fridays and and end the week.
Well, I think I've poured all my wisdom on the topic, guys. I think
That's all there
I'm
is.
tapped out. Yeah.
All
So
right.
again, go gig economy. Go ahead and take full advantage of this, right? And you can explore other platforms, like for instance, Freelancer.com. You can explore them. It's an Australian company. You can see. I don't know them. I took a little bit of them, but to me, the fact that they're not growing, and they are started earlier than Fiverr and is still so much behind in the market cap, right? That's an indication that they're not doing something right. And Fiverr has been growing. So Fiverr actually grew from about $6 billion to over $8 billion over the course of past, I think, 9 months, if I'm not mistaken, or even less. Insane growth. And Upwork also growing, but again, Upwork, I don't think Upwork is for you. Only if you, because Upwork is hourly, right? And one thing I wanted to tell you, what I learned from this, the officer of Fiverr, he used this expression, value for money. And the point that he made, okay, that's my piece of wisdom, all right. So, we always, all of us like quality, right? Yeah, I want quality. Well, quality costs money, right? If you have an engineering background, you are taught not to do the best you can. You do good enough, and good enough meaning meeting specification, right? So that means that quality is not always the right thing to go after, because quality costs you money. So for example, if you go on Upwork, you could find somebody maybe more skillful to do it, but it's going to cost you like literally 10 times more, right? Because when you hire somebody to do a technical task, the problem with technical, it's not painting a house. Even when somebody painting your house, things always go wrong, always, but not that badly, right? Because painting is easier job. But when you do technology development, something always unexpected pops up and burns people time, right? It's like troubleshooting or debugging or whatnot, and you end up paying through the nose. And therefore, that comes Fiverr with its value for money, right? You may get somebody who is less skillful, but skillful enough for you, and that's the way to think about it.
Right.
Value
Yeah.
for money.
Yeah, thank you. That's actually, that's wonderful. It's one of my favorite sayings is, perfection is the enemy of progress. And that's it, right? That's it. So.
Well, congratulations. We've arrived at some piece of wisdom that's.
Hey, I know.
I was able to find.
We actually ended with something that, yeah. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Alex, for that final piece of wisdom and for that wonderful presentation. And I encourage all of you, please do use the affiliate link with Alex and reach out to him. And then we get that extra support and we can all help each other in this
of course,
journey. So yeah, cool. All right, everybody, bye. Have a great weekend. And we will see everyone again soon. Take care. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Alex.
Bye.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Vianney,
Okay.
Angela, everybody.
Thank you, Alex.
Wonderful.